The Carnival Venezia is one of Carnival's newest ships, and yet it seems to be a very polarizing vessel. The ship was originally produced for Carnival's sister brand Costa and was repurposed for the American cruise market following the travel resurgence post-pandemic. But the critical response of some passengers continues to drown out the positives of this ship. So, today, let's take a look at what makes the Carnival Venezia one of the best Carnival ships to take a cruise on currently. I'm looking forward to sharing 5 aspects of this ship that make it one of the best, and one bonus aspect of it at the end that is both one of its best and worst features that seems to have really split the cruise-going public. By the way, if you find any sort of value in the information I provide here, or if you're a solo cruiser looking for a cruise-loving community, I'd invite you to subscribe so you never miss an update or a new trip report. First and foremost, I really enjoyed my 9 days on board the Carnival Venezia. The ship is designed in a very similar way to that of the Carnival Panorama on the West Coast that I've been on several times. And that's where I would like to begin. Number 1, layout and design. The layout and design of the Carnival Venezia is easy to navigate, spacious in most areas, and very elegant in appearance with its nod to Italian theming all throughout, which is not something you typically find on other Carnival ships, where most of the older ones have very over-the-top theming, and newer have a more modern but no-frills look to them. It's pretty easy to find your way around this ship with a central atrium that is beautiful and pleasing to the eye, that looks upon multiple levels of shops and amenities with major venues just off of each floor. From the Teatro Rosso main theater to the Venezia Casino, to the hallways that connect you to the Limelight Lounge, the piano bar, specialty restaurants, and the always bumping Gondola Lounge. The barista at the Java Blue Cafe said it best when she declared that of all the Carnival ships she had been on, the Venezia was a ship for people with taste for something more refined. Number 2, great outdoor spaces. The Carnival Venezia has some really stellar outdoor spaces to help you escape the crowds. Just off the Gondola Lounge on Deck 5 is the beautiful and stretching promenade deck with so many tucked away seats, loungers, and comfy spots to watch the ocean roll by in what are really colorful and photogenic areas. It's a relaxing location to read a book or to enjoy a delightful adult beverage. Another decent outdoor space is up on decks 11 and 12, just above the aft pool area on deck 10. 11 and 12 are where you will find the sports court and the elevated aft lounger space overlooking the wake, which is often less crowded than the deck with the aft pool beneath it. Plus, on deck 12, you can enjoy some mini golf, the fitness gear, and a jogging track with an air-conditioned warehouse arcade that you can dip into if needed. And for adults, climb up to the Deck 15 Serenity area, where you will find one of the best Serenity areas I have ever seen on a Carnival ship. On some, they are little more than some clamshell seats and a few umbrellas, but on the Venezia, you can enjoy rows and rows of loungers, love seats, clamshells, tables and chairs, plants, multiple hot tubs, an exclusive Serenity bar on top of it, and a running theme throughout that is just far more soothing and appealing than other Serenity spaces I have experienced. This section takes up much of the top forward space of the ship and is included for adults. Dare I say, it's a treat that I feel most other cruise lines would charge you for. Number 3, stateroom design. This goes along with the general theme of the ship being Italian elegance. It absolutely extends over into the staterooms on the Carnival Venezia. Usually, staterooms on Carnival ships are pretty basic in design and lack a theme overall, but on this ship, from the carpet to the bathroom accents, counters, mirror frames, and even the imaging directly behind the bedding helping to tie in the Italian theme, I was impressed by how much more just regal it felt. Plenty of USB charging ports, and the balcony room I was in was spacious and comfy, perfect for catching an evening sunset or enjoying a cup of coffee on as we headed for our next port in the Bahamas. Number 4. Specialty dining options. Something the Carnival Venezia does well is boasting several specialty dining options on board that allow you an opportunity to enjoy something outside of your included dining fare. This ship has 5 specialty restaurants to choose from. I had a chance to try 3 of them on my journey. The Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse is a Carnival signature, and this location happens to be the largest on the fleet. From delectable appetizers to sides that complemented my filet mignon perfectly, this steakhouse was a place I visited several times due to its exceptional value and outstanding service. For $49 per adult, you really can't go wrong. Another specialty dining location I tried was Bonsai Teppanyaki, where the master chefs cook up a fun feast right in front of you and a few other passengers sitting around a communal grill. Yes, you get the gags and the jokes you might get at other teppanyaki-style dining locations on land, but that is part of the fun. The food was yummy and plentiful, and the steak here rivaled that of Fahrenheit 555 next door. Plus, for lunch, you can enjoy this dining experience for a few dollars less at just $38 per person versus dinner, which is $42 per person. The other specialty restaurant I took part in on this ship was Il Viaggio. You can't have a ship called the Venezia and the tagline Carnival Fun Italian Style if you don't have an upscale Italian restaurant, right? Il Viaggio, or The Journey, allows you the chance to take a trip through Italy's most beloved eats. The 4-course experience was impeccable, and the service was the very best I had anywhere on the ship. And that may have been because this restaurant still hasn't found a dedicated audience like many of the others, and so it allows for a very intimate dining venue. I dined on the chicken scaparello, which was cooked with garlic, peppers, Italian sausage, rosemary potatoes, and white wine. Of course, the real shining star here was the phenomenal tiramisu dessert that I still think about on occasion, as it wasn't just delectable, but it was a beautifully crafted treat. Il Viaggio will set you back $42 per person. Number 5, Onboard Entertainment. Something I really enjoy about cruising on Carnival is the entertainment factor. While their stage shows are not Broadway-style spectacles like you might find with, say, Jersey Boys on Norwegian, they do have very creative and exclusive options in their theaters, and the Venezia was no different. Unique stories woven with cutting-edge technology or presentation elements allowed for all of these productions to be quite engaging. And then there is the consistent flow of entertainment across the rest of the ship. Whether it was a full-scale band at one end of the ship or a 3-string trio at the other, the performers and acts were plentiful, and quality was always the standard. The other great entertainment provided on Carnival ships, and this ship continues that trend, that I always find to be one of the best presentations at sea is their Punchliner Comedy Club. With PG and explicit shows, the comedians on Carnival always feel much edgier and just more real than they do on other lines, like they're not afraid to be risque, and it makes for an even better stand-up set. And now, as promised, my number 6 bonus best of the Venezia that is also a worst of the Venezia. This honor goes to the much-hated Lido deck. Hated because of its small pool space in what feels like an otherwise closed-in area that fails to accommodate the large crowds that the Lido deck on other Carnival ships typically support for such big events as sailaways and deck parties. It also receives low marks from mini cruisers due to the often closed glass ceiling that creates a warm or even humid environment inside, despite the handful of windows that can be opened for ventilation along the sides of the Lido deck. Now, as disliked as this area seems to be, I found it to be quite charming and perhaps the most beautiful Lido deck of the entire Carnival fleet. With regal Italian theming in some sections and Italian countryside theming in others, this space also had large covered sections that invited a community seating feel and numerous games that could be played on both sides of the deck. Yes, it did get crowded, but it was a very photogenic and inviting place to hang out and lounge at, all initial concerns aside. So, there you have it. Some of the best aspects of the Carnival Venezia. Are you heading out on a Venezia cruise soon, or have you already had the pleasure of traveling aboard this vessel? What did you find to be a pleasant surprise, or better than other Carnival ships you have been on? I would love to hear from you. My Carnival Venezia 9-day cruise left from the port of Manhattan in New York City and took me to the Bahamas, where I experienced a lot of firsts and some really cool excursions. To see what my entire trip was like from start to finish, as well as what it was like to swim with the pigs, check out the video on the right, and we'll see you next time on the Solo Cruiser.